Hello Sewmates, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time being here, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'll be showing you how to achieve this dress. It's a gathered dress, very simple. This is a beginner's sewing project. So if you're a beginner, this is a project that you would be very good for you to do. So to do this project, you're going to need your basic bodice pattern. Now this dress is not mine, it's for a client, and this is her basic bodice pattern. What I did was that I went ahead and I drew out her basic bodice pattern, and then I just used this paper here to just transfer it so that I could have her basic bodice and not keep redrawing it. So that's a very good tip for you if you have a client or if you have yourself who you're always making things for. Instead of keep redrawing that basic pattern every time, you could just draw it and then use this type of paper, just place it over it and then draw it out again. So you're gonna need the basic sleeve. So this is the basic sleeve of my pattern. This is the longer sleeve and this is the short one. So I'm gonna put this aside because we don't need that now. And this is the fabric that I'll be using today for this project. You're going to need your pins, your tools. So let's get started. So guys, so this is the front of the bodice and this is the back of the bodice. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna simply manipulate it and get this dress. This can be done in 20 minutes if you have everything prepared. All right, so what I'm going to do, I love to put my seam allowance at the side because I'm very forgetful. I'll forget it. So I'm gonna put my 1 inch seam allowance at the side. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. And I'm going to draw this here so that I don't forget that I have that right there. That's my sewing allowance. I'm going to put it at the back also. So you're going to add your seam allowance. You could add it when you're doing it on your fabric. It doesn't matter. My pen is flooding. Need a new one. Okay, so this method that we're using is the bust dart method. Okay, so this is not gonna be a bustier top. All I'm going to do is that I'm going to transfer this bust dart to the shoulder. Okay, so I'm gonna find the midpoint of her shoulder. This is right here. Right here. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, let me fold this so it doesn't bother you. Okay, so you could see it better. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to transfer this midpoint of the dart to the bust point. So this is my bust point because I know that's where my side dart stops. So I'm gonna do that. First I'm gonna take this up to the dart so that I know where. And then I'm going to transfer this to the bust. So if you don't understand what I'm doing, what these lines are, I suggest you check out my basic bodice pattern. That way you will understand exactly all these lines. So just to tell you, this is my chest line, this is my bust point line, this is my waistline. I'm not using the underbust today because this is just gonna be a simple princess dart top. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to slash this open and I'm going to close this dart right here. I'm going to close it up. to open this here. All the way to the bust point, like that. And then you're going to just close up this dart. Okay, and what you have to do, you have to redraw this line to make it straight, because now it has shifted, so you have to redraw that line right there, make it straight. Okay, so after you have done that, you're going to let's talk about the neckline just a bit before we go any further, before we go to the back. This is just so easy to do. So what I want is that I want my neckline to be, it's not deep and it's not wide, so I'm gonna make it 3.5 inches. Okay, and then the depth I'm gonna go 4 inches. And since it is round, I'm just gonna use my curve and curve it like this. This is very easy to do. You can do whatever neckline you want. Okay, and then what you're going to do is that you're going to add your seam allowance. So remember that this is on fold. Remember to mark on your patterns. Always remember to mark. And what you're going to do, you're going to add your seam allowance. So we already add the seam allowance to the side, so I'm going to add 1/2 inch at the bottom. I'm gonna add 1/2 inch at the bottom. Right, and then I'm going to add the 1/2 inch for my joining seam allowance at the top and around my armhole. I don't usually do, but I'm gonna add it around the armhole area. So remember, if you're adding it around the armhole area, also add it on your sleeve. Okay, don't make that mistake, because you're gonna wonder why is it not matching up. Okay, so all you have to do is just use your to shapen it out. Okay, my marker is flooding. Okay, and you're adding it here also. You're adding 1/2 inch here. You could also add it to the neckline. Alright guys, this is so easy to do. You could do this in 20 minutes. So this here would be the seam allowance for the neckline. But remember, if you're doing this for the front, you should also do it to the back. And when you are putting it on your fabric, remember to add seam allowance, joining seam allowance at the side here. Okay, I'm gonna take this down straight. Maintain my 1 inch dart. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this out. So let's talk about the back. Now for the back is easy. All I'm gonna do, remember we went out 3.5 inches here. We have to do the same thing. So this is 3 inches, see? And then you go 1/2 inch over. Okay, and I'm gonna come down 1 inch at the back. And this doesn't have zipper allowance, so you need to add that. Okay, so I'm gonna add my zipper allowance of 1 inch because this is gonna have a zipper at the back. So this is my 1 inch, and you have to follow the pattern that you have right here. Okay, so I'm gonna connect all these lines. So this here is the zipper allowance. Okay, and then you're just going to add your sewing allowance. Okay, remember we did that at the bottom. You have to do the same thing. Whatever you do at the back, do it at the front. Okay, because what you're gonna find is that you're gonna have shortage and you're gonna wonder what you did wrong. It's because you didn't add your seam allowance. Okay, you're gonna do it here also. You're gonna draw your line. Okay, my pen is flooding today. I don't know what's going on with my pen. All right, and I'm just gonna take this dart up to the shoulder line because it's just easier to so this is 3 inches, so you're gonna find half of this. This is a 3-inch mark. That's right here. And you're just gonna take it down to this point. Okay? Take it down to this point. Okay. So remember we added 1/2 inch at the top. We have to do the same thing. So you have to be very careful when you're adding your allowances because I don't know if you're like me, I easily forget things. If I don't write down things, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna forget. Okay. Then your 1/2 inch joining allowance because we did it on the front. We have to do it at the back also, and you have to do it on your sleeve also. Usually I don't add it, but okay, I'll just do it this time around because our subscribers will ask me, so what about the armhole allowance? You can add it. Yes, you can. Okay, as long as you remember to add it everywhere. Okay, so the only thing that's left on this to do is to add the seam allowance here to join it. Okay, so we're gonna cut this out also right here. You see how easy it is to forget? You have to add it here also because we did it on the front. Okay, you have to add it all around. This needs to come like that. Okay, see how easy it is to forget things? You're gonna cut this off. guys, so this is all you're going to need for the top part of the pattern. And remember that this here, I'm gonna use this sleeve. I'm gonna use this sleeve. I've showed you many videos on how to make a basic sleeve pattern, so please check it out. Also the basic bodice pattern, because if I show you from scratch each time I make a video, then it's gonna be too long and I don't want to weary you, so be sure to check that out. So let's talk about the bottom of the dress, which is so easy. It's a gathered bottom. So, and if you notice, the gathers are not very, it's not a lot. It's not full. So if you don't want it to be so full, you could multiply your waist by 2 or 2.5. But if you want it to be very full, you can multiply your waist by 3. I multiplied her waist by 2. So her waist is 32 inches. And I multiplied it by 2. And I got this rectangular piece of fabric that I'm going to use to gather it and just put to the bottom. So I added some more seam allowances there. Okay, so that's how you get the bottom of the dress. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to cut out all these patterns, the sleeve, everything, and then we sew it. Okay, Sewmates, so I went ahead and I cut out the pieces, each piece for this dress, and I went ahead and I cut out my facing and I put interfacing on it. I also went and I prepared my zipper for this dress, and I also cut out the sleeve part of this dress. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna go to our sewing machine and we are going to join each of these together. So what we're going to do, we're gonna start with the let's put this aside for a little bit, we're not ready. So we're gonna start with the the darts. We're gonna go and we're gonna sew in our darts. So the back, we're gonna sew them together. Remember, you should have added 1/2 inch seam allowance to sew them together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew in my darts and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I attached the darts and I went ahead and I ironed them, and I also serged it. You want to iron your project because you want to see all the mistakes that you have made from the initial stage. Okay, so I went and I ironed it down. This is what it looks like. This is what the front looks like. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to attach them at the shoulders, right? Just like this. You want to attach them at the shoulders. You see they match perfect. That's what you're looking for. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the lining also. So I'm gonna attach them at the shoulders. Then I'm going to do the neckline. So I've made detailed videos on how you can make the neckline. So neckline with facing. So I'm just check out one of those and that will help you a little bit more. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to attach my sleeves, and then we talk about the lower part of the dress. Okay guys, so this is what we have so far. When we go ahead and we attach the sleeves, ensure that they match perfect, you know, everything is nice and neat. Then we're gonna put this aside for a little bit because the upper part is basically done, right? This needs to be ironed out. You need to iron out your neckline. And then what we're going to do now is that we are going to work on the bottom part, which is very easy to do. So I'm just gonna walk you through what you're supposed to do. So what you need to do for the length of the bottom part, you need to subtract the upper part. So for instance, she wants a length of I think 53 inches, and the upper part is about 15 inches from the nape to our waist is about 15 inches. So what you need to do is subtract that 15 inches from the full length, and then you're going to have the lower part. I think this is about 40 inches. I think this is about 40 inches. So what you're going to do now, remember you're multiplying either by 2 or 3. It depends on how full you want it, but knowing my client, she's not gonna want it too full. So I multiplied by 2. So what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna go ahead and run a basting stitch all the way around so that I could gather it. When I'm done doing that, when I'm done gathering this, I'm going to attach the top part to the bottom part and then attach my zipper. So I'm gonna do that and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so now I'm gonna attach the bottom of the flare to the top, the bottom of the dress to the top. I don't know, for some reason I don't like starting the gathers at the exact zipper allowance. I leave out my zipper allowance. I don't know, it's just because I like when the zipper is straight and not just moving all over the place. Yeah, so that's why I don't start it at the exact place, but you do what you're comfortable with. Ensure that the gathers are even, okay? You don't want some to be even and some not even. Sure that you spread it out so that you have even gathers. Okay? Okay. Now I'm gonna start pinning. Okay. Alright guys, I'm gonna attach it now. Okay guys, so I have attached the down part. This is what it looks like. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to attach my zipper. You're gonna attach a zipper, and I also went ahead and serge it just to make it look nice and neat. So I'm gonna attach my zipper now, and then I'm going to hem the bottom, and that will be the end of this dress. I'll show you how it looks at the end of it. Okay guys, I'm not completely through with this dress, but this is the result of what we have so far. It needs a nice press and a nice trim. So if you find this video helpful, do not forget to give me a giant thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell so you'll be notified each time I make a video. Until we meet again, I will see you in my next one. Bye.